a new day, Saturday. We had to take a little time this morning to unload some of that really nice alfalfa hay, so I got some footage finally of us unloading in the barn. Good to do that in the morning while the dew was still on the beans. So I'm already out in the combine now. I've kind of got things greased up. Oh, I got a little on me even. Well, it's bound to happen, right? That looks even worse. So I gotta oil some chains yet here, and then hopefully get going and have a good full afternoon of harvesting. I should be able to make a big dent in stuff. Fingers crossed. Hopefully we only have one big breakdown this year. Well, everything looks and sounds good, so you got to look over everything every day and make sure that nothing seems suspicious or out of place, because when you're in the cab harvesting, all you can rely on is your ears to hear what's going on with the machine. So thorough checkup every day before I get out in the field. And on that note, I just saw a couple of grease points I missed, so I'm going to hit those before I get going. Second field all done. This is the last of it dumping in. Got a full load over there. And there it is. That is always a nice sight to see. Another day in the books. Combine's behind me. I am done. It's getting hard to see. It's been a long day. It's been a productive day. And I got further than I wanted to, which is always a blessing, right? So I'm gonna hang it up here, but I'm walking back out to the field because I took my pickup truck out. I had left the combine out there yesterday at the end of the day. So I took my pickup out with grease and oil for the machine. So I'm gonna go grab that. While I'm on my way out there, I'll show you guys what I got accomplished. I will say that I learned today that the old 55 combine can ingest and digest pretty copious amounts of green, tough ragweed. Last year I went through a lot of ragweed, but it was late in the season and it was all dried out. So it crisped through pretty well. But this year, it's still tough. The beans are ready to come off, but the ragweed's still green. Or at least the stems are still tough. And you gotta go slow. She growls quite a bit when those things go through the cylinder, but I can hear it below me and behind me a little bit where that cylinder is running. But it'll do it. You go slow enough, it grinds it up, gets it through, sorts it out from the beans. The one problem is with combining at this time of year where the ragweed hasn't dropped all its seeds yet, so I'm actually getting quite a bit of ragweed seed in the soybeans. So I'm not sure. We may get docked on that at the elevator when we go to sell them. But, you know, it's not in every load, and it's going to mix out and kind of blend out when we combine all the loads on the semi. So we'll see. Hopefully it won't be a problem. And if it is, well, I guess I'd rather have the seeds leave the farm, right? We can have the elevator dock us a few a few cents if it means getting rid of those ragweed seeds. Okay, let's see here. What can I show you? So I've got the field opened up. I've got 3 passes around the outside for turnaround area. And I should be able to finish this field in, I don't know, 3 hours tomorrow. It's slow going, so it's not a race. It's just trying to get to completion. So, you know, the new stuff goes pretty fast, but I can't go that fast, especially not with the rigid grain header. So I'm gonna keep walking here. I'll show you the next bit. One thing to note, the field that I'm in here that I've been working on, that was a different variety of beans. At the last minute, we changed up our soybean acreage, and they gave us a different type of beans. I don't remember what it was. I know the initial stuff we planted was a mycogen variety. The later stuff was something else. I'll have to look back into the paperwork and find out. But that variety yielded better, and it stood better in the dry year that we had. It's interesting because the corn looks like it's going to be almost a record yield. The beans were just so-so. I think the beans would have liked a little more rain this year, and we got just the right amount to keep the corn going, but some of the bean fields suffered a bit, especially on the high and dry areas. So, but that variety I really liked because it stood taller, it's easier to harvest, it had a lot more beans on it, it's definitely yielding better. I don't need a yield monitor to see that. I can tell. I can watch it flow into the combine and tell that it's doing considerably better than the other stuff. So that's something to look into because we might want to stick with that. That's an E3 bean, and I could see using that variety for everything next year. There's the field I started on this morning. All cleared off. And then where I'm standing is a little 2-acre patch. That's all cleared off. It's my sister's place. Somebody's out doing chores in the horse barn. So that's all cleaned up. That wagon's full. And then there's the field we were just standing in. The camera's going to darken because the sun's over there. But that's what I have to wrap up. It's getting too dark here for me to do any more filming, so... Really? My light. There. It's getting too dark for me to do any more filming, so for now, I'm going to sign off for today. Go back to the farmhouse. Hopefully Mom's got something tasty waiting for me. And with any luck and no breakdowns, fingers crossed, we'll be all done tomorrow with soybeans. And I think Dad moisture tested the corn, and it was coming in at like 17%, 16.5%, which is great. We'll have no trouble cribbing that and having it dry down to the right moisture content. So I think this next week my wife has off from work, so I have some freedom to come out here. And I think we're going to maybe just go right into corn and start picking. It seems a little early. It's before MEA weekend. Usually we shoot for MEA weekend to pick corn. And a lot of years, more often, like about half and half, we'll be able to start picking on MEA weekend, and half the time we end up going a little later than that. And so to be a little bit earlier is nice. It's just a really a nice treat. So that'll be our next thing, along with getting the cover crops drilled in. So somehow we'll manage it all. I'm not quite sure. It'll be some long days, and we'll have to figure some schedule stuff out. But with any luck, over the next week or so, we'll be able to wrap up a lot of stuff with our fall harvest here. Good morning, folks. It is Sunday, and I am back out here to try to finish combining soybeans. Before I can get started, I got to fuel up the combine, at least part way, and grease everything again one last time through. Just kind of a light pass, hit the major components because everything was running really good and smooth yesterday, and then get back out there and get done. It's actually kind of nice. It's a little bit overcast today. It's a perfect day to do this. So yeah, here we go. Let's get going. Well, bollocks. What is it with wheels this year? It's really bad. So I guess one nice thing about having equipment that's all from about the same era, those wheels on the combine are just a 9.5L 15 tire with a 6-bolt rim. So we're gonna steal this one off the baler, and we're done with the baler anyway for the season, so it's just to get done with today. One more thing off the unexpected to-do list. We've only got 5 acres to do, so that'll get us through. It's a little smaller than the other one. 5 acres, just 5 more acres. That's all we gotta do. Come on, baby. Well, that's the end of the 2020 soybean harvest. The only thing left to do at this point is to get that last wagon home, park it next to the others, and we've got a good chance of severe weather tonight. Since we can't get these beans shipped out and we don't have a shed to put them in and we don't have a bin, we're gonna have to tarp these wagons and tie the tarp down really good. And it's supposed to be just a couple hours of bad weather overnight, and hopefully it won't be too blustery, and they'll be just fine and ready to ship out early this week. The old 55 did its job admirably, aside from the wheel problems. Not fake problems, wheel problems. Other than that though, you know, I mean, that was kind of a big deal having the big set of duals fall off, but ultimately that was about a $50 fix to get bolts and a drill bit to get that taken care of. So as far as costs are concerned, you can't ask for better than that. And the other one, we just swapped that out. We'll take that tire and get it repaired once harvest is kind of in the bag and there's a little more time. So otherwise, the machine itself worked great. The only other thing that I am reminded that must be done is that we really need to find a flex header for it. It's another year of stress and strain with trying to gauge that header and run that machine, and got to go pretty slow because you need time to react to raising and lowering that thing to try to skim the ground with it. And it just does not move up and down on its own at all. I mean, there was one point I hit a rock and just jammed the whole machine because the thing has no up and down flexibility at all. So for next year, I think we got to look for a 213 flex header that could go on like a 4400, because this combine has the right feeder house for that, and we could adapt it and make it work. And that would make life a lot better. I could go at a much better clip, and I could get the beans harvested better just in general, and it would make life a lot less stressful. I'm always a little envious as I watch other farm tubers, that the guys with the nice modern equipment can, you know, put the thing on auto steer and film a video while they're in the cab. And in the meantime, I'm crawling along at a fraction of the speed that they are and using every appendage that I've got to control this machine to keep things lined up and going at the right speed and at the right height and all that. So there's some good things about being modern, but this gets the job done for us. I really can't complain. The beans were pretty clean for the most part, and I can't say that I'm disappointed. I'm pretty happy with the way things went overall. So there we go. We'll follow up with shipping these out, and we're gonna go right into corn harvest. So next thing, get the corn picker up, get it tuned up, get ready to go, get the beans shipped out, and on to our next big adventure.